Hey, how's it going everyone, and welcome back. I'm Martin. So, with the Age of Triumph, 11 new grimoire cards were added. The two I'm going to be looking at in this video are Ghost Fragment Fallen 6 and Ghost Fragment The Reef. In these cards are possible story hints and evidence that we will unite with the Fallen in Destiny 2, or at least what's left of the Fallen race. Since we first began, the Fallen have always been a broken and divided race, and throughout these 3 years of playing Destiny, we've crushed whatever remained of their leadership. Rixis, Sepix, Draxis, Axor, Skolus, Axis. The only Kell we haven't met is the Kell of the House of Kings. We have no info on their Kell at all, no name or anything, almost as if it's a huge secret, and this I thought was quite intriguing. The House of Kings have always been secretive, playing from the shadows, and in fact Prince Uldren, the Queen's brother, has said he admires the Kings in grimoire card Paskin, King Baron. After reading the following two cards, I have a feeling we'll be hearing more about the House of Kings and their Kell in Destiny 2. The first card, Ghost Fragment Fallen 6, details the Fallen's current status after the events of Rise of Iron. Breaking Mission Top Sheet Protocol Commander. I wanted to understand the scope of what we're looking at here. As the fight teams fanned out across the region, the Devils rushed out to meet them. Our forces dealt with some perceived pockets of splicer activity, and every once in a while the Kings popped their heads up and scared the hell out of everyone. In other words, situation absolutely normal. That's a lie. The Fallen are abandoning the Cosmodrome. Hawk flyovers confirm. The House of Devils forces are simply not there anymore. They've been disorganized for the last few years, but there's never been a shortage of ground troops whenever we staged a significant sortie. Intel source Green Raven was right, and for the moment it's worth assuming their reports on the House of Exiled, House of Winter, and House of Wolves are also accurate. We're fact-checking against independent fighting reports from the field. The kid all the SRL fans talk about, Marcus, he was in one of the fight teams out at the Cosmodrome. He pulled me aside and said it to me straight. The Fallen houses are gone. The siege is broken. The stalemate we've had with the Elixir for what, 100 years? It's over. We won. Commander, I'm not even sure they're flying the banners anymore. The teams found huge mounds of burnt cloth and armour, ceremonial piles, in several of the most hardcore Fallen holdouts. What's changed? Where have the Fallen gone? Why have they burned their banners? I'm drawing up a plan to coordinate forces from the Queen's Wrath, Fellwinter Peak, the Warlock Orders, and more non-traditional outfits to follow up on these reports. I believe your wisdom will guide us through the trials ahead. Sloan. So, the Fallen have burned their banners, abandoned their houses, and fled the Cosmodrome. What could they be planning next? Could the remaining Fallen be uniting under one banner? The House of Kings? Well, this next card may answer that. Ghost Fragment The Reef picks up where we last left off with Prince Uldren. Last we had heard of him, he had actually survived the battle between the Awoken Fleet and Oryx, and had crash-landed on Mars, where he was discovered by his drones, the Crows. In this card we learn that Prince Uldren was captured by the Fallen and taken to their Kell, but it sounds like he purposely let the Fallen capture him as part of some kind of plan. The card reads, he let his captors drag him through the dirt, his arms ached, 2 hands wrapped around each bicep like iron bands. He slumped, and the toes of his scuffed boots bumped over the stones and left trails in the dust. He kept his eyes low, a ragged and stained cloak hanging over his face. It was not a position to which he was accustomed. They debased him. They abused him. He bit the inside of his cheek until the blood filled his mouth. He struggled not to resist. They needed to believe he was broken, that he wasn't a threat. It was the only way they would bring him before their Kell. He had spent weeks weaving the illusion that led the Fallen to him. He had left bits of his trail where they couldn't help but find them. He skulked from planet to planet, Mars, then Venus, then Mercury, then back again, following rumours and whispers. He had hid from Guardians, from his own people. He had let everything they'd built fall apart, whilst those still loyal to him searched every inch of this forsaken system. Now it was time to stop searching and start building. He would need soldiers who answered to him and no one else, bodies to shape with will and magic and tech to his needs. These would serve. He thought they would take him to a catch, but they were deep underground, not near the Cosmodrome, but it didn't matter. He had never been particularly concerned with the geography of this blasted world. It was not his home. So he bent his head low and listened to the guttural string of hisses and clicks issuing from the maw of a would-be king in yellow, a broken ruler of a broken house, and the last of his kind. They were more alike than he cared to admit. When the creature's anger had burnt itself out, he raised his head to look at it. He did not need to speak. One kell rises, and another one bends its knee. And the prince felt the little hum of starlight ripple through him, the one that let him know she would be pleased with what he had done. So Prince Uldren has been taken by the Fallen somewhere on Earth, not the Cosmodrome as they've abandoned that place, somewhere we haven't been and will possibly visit in Destiny 2. Uldren was brought before a would-be king in yellow, a broken ruler of a broken house and the last of his kind. This is the king's kell, but what's more interesting is this line here. One kell rises and another one bends its knee. The big theory here is that Prince Uldren is now the kell. We know that he's always wanted power, to be a king, but his sister Mara Sov, Queen of the Awoken, held that power over the House of Wolves whilst he was just second in command. But now he has an opportunity to be king, to rule the Fallen. They would be his soldiers that save him, and the only way he would be able to meet the king's kell would be to let them capture him, and it worked. However, there's still maybe one or two slight problems with this theory. Why would the king's kell give up his power to Prince Uldren? As it's mentioned in other grimoire cards, the House of Kings are too ambitious and wouldn't just roll over for anyone. So did Uldren find a way to kill him? Or has a deal been struck so that Uldren acts as kell whilst the true leader's identity remains a secret? And what about that trail that Prince Uldren left that allowed the Fallen to find him and capture him? Why did he need to go from planet to planet? What was that trail? Was he leaving them bits of information? I feel like there's something we don't know here that's been left out, and the Fallen may have learnt something that has changed their mind. And if Prince Uldren was to become kell of the Fallen, why would he want to work with us? We know that he doesn't particularly like Guardians. Well, we know that the Fallen, particularly the House of Kings, want the Traveller, and in Destiny 2, we lose the city. So, what if the remaining Fallen have all united under one banner, the House of Kings? And what if a deal is struck? The Fallen agree to save Prince Uldren only if he agrees to help us Guardians reclaim the city and the Traveller. That way, we get the city back, the Fallen get a piece of the Traveller's power, Prince Uldren gets his soldiers. He can finally be the king he wanted to be, whilst the Fallen can rebuild and gain their strength once again, and we gain a new ally. This might seem like a little bit of a stretch, but I don't think it's too out of the question. It could be similar to Halo 3, where humans became allies with the elite. Let me know what you think about this, or if you have any other theories, let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear it. Credit to Mörlin Games for pointing out this grimoire card. As always, thank you very much for watching, likes are always appreciated, and I'll talk to you next time.